concepts which are related to this data, all these kind of things become very, very prominent. So we need to understand how the data is working and what are the different things which are related to data. So that is something that we will be talking about in today's class, and I hope it'll be clear to all of you. So kindly follow me carefully, and we'll start with the concept. So first thing that we talk about today will be data collection. Okay, so when we talk about data collection, we say that the data that anybody collects is basically of two types. One is the primary data, and the second is the secondary data. So whenever you're doing any kind of analysis or you want to do sampling later on, the most important thing that you do is first and primarily you do data collection. Means you have to see how to get the information. So primary sources of data is basically when we go and collect things on our own. Means I don't rely on anybody. I make my own questionnaire. I go to different places and I collect data on my own. That is taken as primary data source. Okay, so primary data source is when the research is 100% original, and you are making a questionnaire, creating your own questions, and then going and doing data collection. So that is the first source. The second that we talk about is called a secondary source. Now, sometimes what happens is, suppose you want to find out something about a small city, then it is very easy to go and collect data. But suppose you want to talk about maybe your entire country, or you want to do a comparative analysis between your country and India. So here it is not possible for you to go to every single person and collect data. There what you will do is you will take the collection which is being done by the government, which is being done by different agencies. Like yesterday we were talking about IMF and World Bank, and there might be different company reports which are there. So a lot, if it is a wider kind, a macro kind of research, then you have to rely on other people for data, because at the individual level it is not possible for us to go and collect the data. So that is what we talk about when we are talking about secondary data analysis. So secondary data analysis is something which is very, very important, and this is also a wide area, though we normally try to give more prominence to primary data research. It is not exactly correct, because majority of the research, especially if you use higher models like econometric models and all, you have to use secondary data analysis. So primary data analysis does not work out that well. There you will look into secondary data analysis. So primary data is data which is collected first hand by a person. Secondary data is data which has been collected by different people, and you are using it for the purpose of your research. Okay. Now, when we talk about primary data collection, so for primary data collection, we have many methods of data collection. So I will deal with most of these methods, at least to just give you a basic outline on how the analysis part works. So the first is direct personal investigation. Okay. Let me just write them down, then I'll come to them one by one. Second is indirect oral investigation. Then third, you have information through correspondence. Okay. Then the next one that you have is telephonic interviews. Then you have next as mailed questionnaire, and the last method will be questionnaires filled by enumerators. Okay, so I'll be dealing with all these different methods, at least little bit. I will tell you, not go into very much details, but just give you a brief idea about all these details. Now, the first method that we talk about is a direct personal interview. What is a direct personal interview method? Here, what happens is that suppose you want to get an analysis on the effectiveness of managerial methods of top CEOs of 10 countries in India, or in Mauritius, or Nigeria, or whichever country. So now here, what I've done is I have selected 10 prominent people, and I want to do the survey only on these 10 people. So if I send them a questionnaire, 100% they will not even want to look at it or consider it or fill it. So what will work best over here is that I go personally, take an appointment, go personally, meet them, talk to them, ask all the questions which are relevant to them, and according to that, I will get the information from them. So in this case, what I'm doing is that I am meeting all of these people personally, getting information on a one-to-one question. So I might have some tentative questions. So here, when we talk about this, we say that you have something called as a structured interview, or you have unstructured. So structured is, for example, you go and you've just got 10 questions. So you go there and you ask only these 10 questions and come back. You do not ask any further questions. If something is not in your list, you will not even venture there. You will not try to, even if a person is raising a very interesting point. Like, for example, if I ask him that what is the best technique of management, he says Six Sigma. So if I, it is not in my list that can you tell us some examples of how you have implemented this technique? If it is not there in my list, I will not ask the question. Okay, so I will just note down, okay, this person is very fond of Six Sigma approach to management. So I've just finished it over there. I'm not going to ask further questions on the methodology. Okay, or he says that, time management skills really help me. So if the question is not there that what are these time management skills, then I will not ask the question. That is what we called as a structured interview, where we do not ask any questions from our side. Okay, unstructured interview is now exactly the opposite, where the person says, oh, I am very good with time management, and that's why I managed to finish a lot of things in the time allotted to me. So as an interview, I ask him, really, then please, can you give us 2 3 tips on how time can be managed in the best possible way? Then he tells us, see, this is how I do. I make a list of these few things, and then I decide on the amount of time I will spend on it, or whatever his technique is. So I will say that, how do you think other people can implement it? So what I'm doing is, from what he's answering, I'm going on to the next and next and next question. So I am not actually, I might be having a format of a few questions, but I will do the questioning as per what the answers are coming. So when we answer according to whatever is we question according to the answer of the other person, then it is as um, um, an unstructured interview method. Okay, so that is also a very good method, and very very frequently used method. And especially if your sample size is small, means you don't have so many people. If the sample size is small, then you will say that this is the best method to use. But suppose now you say that there are around 3,000 or 4,000 people that you want to take a sample of. Is it possible, if you want to conduct a study today, you start the study, And even if you decide, okay, I will try to interview at least 10 people per day, you just see it is going to take you such a long time to interview those 3,000 people. And by the time you reach the end of that, reach that 3,000 person, the data that you've collected from the first person might have changed. He might have some new perspective, he might be thinking in a different way. So all the previous data is no longer of use. So if the sample size is small, then this is a very good method, because you come to know a lot of additional information from the people, which you can use for the purpose of your research. So over here we say that this is a very, very nice method to use if you just have a sample size of maybe 10 or 20 people, and you want to do a very intensive, in-depth kind of research only based on very limited people. Then this is a very good approach. Okay. The second is indirect oral investigation, where we say that we cannot meet the person directly. So we take it through indirect sources. So suppose there's been an accident on the road. Now the person is critical and in hospital. I cannot go and gather information from him because he's hurt, or any other person for that matter. If the person has been in an accident, or something unfortunate has happened to a family, or there's been a fire somewhere and something has happened, now I cannot directly go to the people and get information. What do? I will say, all the people who are standing around, we will ask what happened. So the person says, this car was coming from here, this car was coming from here, and they crashed like this. And that particular car was coming at, it was on the wrong side, and the driver was driving very fast. So you get information from indirect sources. Means you're not directly asking the person who was in the accident, but you ask the people who saw the accident. So that is called as an indirect oral investigation. So like for example, currently you'll find we take so much information from people around who are not directly affected by a certain thing. Okay, so that is indirect oral investigation. Sometimes we really need to use this method when we want information which we cannot get directly from a person. So it is useful, but not widely used. It is only used in certain specific areas. After that, the third method that we come to is information through correspondence. Now we are all seeing what is happening is when we are talking about maybe the Ukraine war, the information is coming through correspondence. Now, suppose I want first-hand information about elections which are happening in so many places around India. Now, I can't be there everywhere, and I cannot know what the people are thinking, or what the people want, and who they want to represent, or anything about them. I'm not able to get first-hand information over there. So what do? I send a correspondent. That correspondent gives me the information, and from that information, I come up to my research and say that this is the information which was got to me, and from this information we can derive these facts. Okay, that party A is very strong and might win the elections. So what you're doing is you are sending correspondence, because if you want information at the same time from different places, then naturally you will have to work through correspondence. So this is the third primary data collection method. So many times, as I said, it is first hand collected. First hand collected does not mean that you are going and collecting it. It can be collected by other people who are around you. So it's not always the person who is doing the research is actually sitting and collecting data. It can be through a lot of other people who are around, who might be doing the data collection. So that is a very, very important thing that we take. Just give me 1 second here. So the next one is telephonic interviews. Now, suppose you lack time and you cannot go to so many different places to collect data, then what do? Then you will try to find out from the through telephone. You might just call up the person and say, okay, please, can you help me? I want some information regarding this particular thing. I'm conducting a sample and a survey. So can you please help me with providing the required required information. So that will come under telephonic interview method. Okay. Then we have the mailed questionnaire method. The mailed questionnaire method is sometimes not a very efficient method. You want to nowadays it is very effective. I will come to that. See, earlier what used to happen is, when we had the mail questionnaire method, we would make a questionnaire and send it by post. Now the person had to sit down, answer all those questions, again mail it back to the person. Okay, you might get an envelope in which it was written that with the mailing address, that person had to just put it in and put it in the mailbox. Not that he had to pay for the mail, but he would have to sit down and solve all the questions and send it back to you. So you find that many times we think, oh, okay, I'll answer it later. Okay, I'll post it later, because I have to make a special effort and go and post it. So at that time it was not an effective method, but now if you see, this mail questionnaire method has become actually the Google forms that you generally use, that you create a questionnaire and you send it across all the groups and ask them to send it across further groups and ask everybody to fill it and send it back to you. So it has become a little changed form of the mailed questionnaire method, but currently we all see that if you consider research, it is probably one of the most efficient methods to get information from very far away places also, and quickly and easily. But mail questionnaire, what we are talking about, the original mail questionnaire was not a simple method, because you had to find the address of all the people, mail it to them, then naturally you would have to be after them that please send the questionnaire back. When the questionnaire comes to you, sometimes many of the questions would not be answered, so people would just randomly take some questions and send it back to you. Okay, on the part of the person who was sending the questionnaire also, it used to be a whole effort, because he had to sit down and make mark all the things which were required, then post it, go to a post box and put it in and send it across. So it used to be a huge work, and that's why it was not a preferred method, because people said, oh, we don't have that much time. So it was used under very, very rare conditions. Now, the last one is the best method and the most frequently used method, where we say questionnaires filled by enumerators. Now, whenever we talk about questionnaires, we say that there are two types in questionnaires that we talk about. The first is called as questionnaires which are filled by enumerators, and then you have questionnaires which are filled by the respondents. So you have basically two things. You have questionnaires which are filled by the enumerators, and you have questionnaires which are filled by the respondents themselves. So when a respondent fills the information on his own, means it comes to you. Now he hands you over the questionnaire and you mark it and fill it and give it back to the person. Then it is known as the questionnaire method. But when the person does not hand over the questionnaire to you, but asks you the question and he fills the answers. Like he'll ask you, what is your age? You say 24 years. He marks 24 years. What is your educational qualification? You say, I'm a PhD. He marks that. Then, do you like to watch movies? You say, yes. He marks that. So he's not giving you the form to fill. He is asking you each question and marking it. So in this method, what happens, the basic difference is, in a questionnaire method, again, you might not answer certain questions. But when it is the enumerator who is asking you to mark things, then 100% he tries to get all the answers. So if there's a question which you didn't understand, he will explain the question to you and get the answer out for you. So there, through enumerators, you generally get all the questions answered. So that's a very big positive. Although it becomes expensive again, that this enumerator has to go to every person and get the information from there. But like for example, I would say for my PhD, it was the enumerators method. We personally went and I had a sample of four villages, and we went to all the villages, and we had to ask the questions and fill it because they were not educated. So naturally I could not hand over the questionnaire to them. I had to get it personally filled from each and every person who was there. So that method is a little time taking method, but it is a very effective method because every person's response is recorded and you get the correct response. So this is when we talk about the different methods of primary data collection. Now when we come to the secondary method, uh, let's come to, yeah. So when we come to the secondary methods, now secondary methods are methods, basically when you go to different sources, like you might have in your country certain sources which will provide you by with different kinds of uh, different kinds of information. So you might have a search engine which gives you authentic finance data. Like in India, we have Capital Line. So if you go to Capital Line, you get all the data related to stocks, shares, investments, other things. Similarly, if you want economics data, we have Economic and Political Review Journal, where we can get that kind of data. Then, if you want census data, you have the authorized sites where you can go and pick up the actual data from them. So you get go to different areas and you will get different kind of information which is required by. Okay, so that is the secondary sources. Now the most important thing is that you have to be very careful with the sources of data, because what happens is many times people are giving you incorrect information. So when we do research and when we see many research projects, people say, oh, we'll take it from this. So you just go to any magazine and collect the data and do your research. Now the authenticity of the magazine is not very high unless it is unless it falls in that particular area of the comment. So only then will you be able to get the correct source. But if you're just taking any random magazine which has published an article, and this is a big mistake that we do, please remember, because even if you're working in corporate sector nowadays, research has become very important. You need to go for conferences, you need to do paper presentations. So whenever we take a table also from somewhere, we are not allowed to copy paste a table from anywhere. We have to remake the paper, change data, not change as in change data, but use the data in a different manner. If you're just copying it from a government site and pasting it, it is not nothing original has been done from you. So you have to select the data which you require. And many times people feel, oh, that's too much amount of work. If somebody else has done some work, let me just use that and go ahead with that. So you find that people will not be doing very original research. So we have to be very careful about the secondary sources of data. It seems very easy, it is not. 90% of us, what we want to do is we want to put, for example, I want to find out about national income. So I type in national income of India in my Google thing, and you just see the number of searches which come, which tell you national income statistics and national income and all this. But is that correct? Can we take any of that data? Can we just randomly pick up the data and use it? We cannot do that, because that will not be correct. So even if you just open Google, every Google site is not an authentic site, and every Google site you cannot just say that I have taken data from Google. You have to take data from a source which is authentic, which is um, if especially if you want to publish something or you want to do research, it has to be supported by proper source information. So if you're making a table and just putting it somewhere, it does not show any authenticity. So down below a table, that is the most important part of a table, where you write the source. So any table that you write, you have to write self created. When you are using your own information, you have used Excel sheets and you have made your own table, then it is self created, because you are writing that this information is through my questionnaire. So it is original primary data. Now I have taken information about different states. It cannot be primary information. Means it It's not possible that I go to each and every person and gather information about one particular state in India or wherever in the world. So there, 100% it is understood that you're taking data from somewhere else. So when you're taking data from somewhere else and you're not mentioning the source of that data, then that table is not valued as authentic. So keep this in mind. Okay, this is a very important thing to remember. And many times we think, oh, I have already written this, why aren't they accepting my paper, or why aren't they talking about it? You find that it is not at all easy, because every information that you put, suppose you put a link nowadays, earlier it used to be that you would type in some data from a journal. Now in our country, if you want any information about census reports, you just go to National India Statistics and you get that information. So you have to give the link of that particular site. Without that, your table will not hold value. And if it is a good journal or a good conference, they will click on that source and cross check whether the information you have put in. Now if you just try, why I'm going into details here is because you need to understand that, suppose if I click and I go to a sector where there is so much of information. Now out of that so much of information, what have I taken? Have I just copy pasted for just open any census page? You'll just be amazed at the amount of information one page holds. You're not doing research like that. Out of that, you are selecting one or thing and taking and using it for your research. So the link has to be there. Okay, so this is how we are going to say that the table is authentic. Now from that, maybe I will collect information only for 10 days, okay, 10 years, or I will collect information for 5 states. Whatever I require, I have taken. But the moment you put this source and you put the link for the source, any person can go to that source and say, yes, this page holds similar data, so this person's research is correct. So that is where secondary data information becomes very important. 90% of the times we just write secondary data is taken from other sources. Very easy to write and very easy to just push across, but it is not correct, because secondary data really is very, very important. So this is all about data collection. I don't want to go further in details about it. Now after this, I come to the second area, where I will talk about, talk about sampling, types of sampling later. What I want to talk about is, one second, just I need to refer to the, so yeah. So after this, what you do is classification of data. I should come to organization of data. Yeah. So after you have collected your data, now whether you collect from primary sources or secondary sources, what you have got is raw data. So what we say is raw data. Okay, and these method collections are, there are two basic methods which I'll deal with later again in details. One is the census method, which I just said that if you go to secondary sources, what you get is census data. That means each and every individual falling in a particular category, you take information from them. And the second is what we talk about, sampling method. Now, sampling method is what is generally taken and what we will be using currently for any kind of analysis that we are doing. So, sampling method is that you collect information, go to people by any of the methods which I mentioned earlier, and you collect data from them. So, when you collected data, the data is in raw form. Means if you've collected through questionnaires, you might be having 100 questionnaires. Each person has filled in information about one thing. So you do not know what to do with this information, and so you have to come to a method first, how to put the information into different sectors in form of a table. Then only you can go to an analysis. If you are not putting it in any form, if it is raw data, you cannot work with raw data. You will not get any kind of statistical method or quantitative method which can be applied to raw data. Raw data first has to be classified, put into tables, and only then can we do further statistical analysis. Okay, so when we come to classification of data, I'll just talk about types of classification, not more than that. Classification is the moment we have got our data and we put it into different categories. So the first kind of category that we have is called as geographical data. So if I make a table where I write city and population, so I have written like in India I write Delhi, okay, I write Mumbai, I write Kolkata, I write Bangalore. So I've got 4 cities and I want to find the population. So here, through my census method or whichever method, I have got the population. I'm just writing random figures here. This is not the actual population, but I'm just writing something 54, 104, 34, 64. So what I've done is according to place, I have created a table or distinguished the data according to region or area specific. So when I do that, it is called as geographical data. So this is the first kind of classification. Many people will use this particular classification. Okay. The second that we use, is everybody clear till this point? Whatever I have completed till now, I hope everybody is able to follow me.
Okay. Yes, ma. We are very clear, ma.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So the first is yeah, thank you. If I get some kind of some kind of response from you all in the middle, it tells me that all of you are listening and able to understand.
Madam, but as for me, I'm lost. Can you just explain on that part? I've missed something, like the classification.
So classification of data. Now, for example, I said that if you open anything, you will get a lot of data. There is no dearth of data. People feel that how will I get data? There is no problem with getting data. You make a questionnaire, you send it to 50 people, you get data. You open a census site, you will get data. Everywhere you will get data. But from that, you need to choose and you need to classify according to what your research is. For example, you want to find out the education and the population, whether there is a relation city wise. Okay, so here I have got a table where according to city I've written population, and out of the population I say there are 10 people who are educated, there are 12 people who are educated, there are 20 people who are educated, and there are maybe probably 60 people who are educated. So now just looking at the table only, you can say that the closest relationship between population and education is in Bangalore city. Okay. So what we are doing is we are writing the data systematically in according to geographical identification. So we are saying according to a city, according to a town, according to a village, according to a nation. So any of the international statistics that you see of all the countries, Japan, India, US, UK, China, etc., and you say this is their investment, this is their education, this is their HDI index. So when you see those tables, those are all geographical data or geographical classifications. Hope this is clear now, Isaac. I hope I've clarified your point. It's clear? Yes, Isaac, you asked me a question, so I hope it is clear. Okay. So the second one that we have, this is very important. We'll be dealing with this questions on this, so please be clear. It is called as chronological. So whenever we talk about chronological classification, we talk about classification which is based on time. So whenever you classify something according to time, it will come under chronological classification. So if you are taking year and population and literacy, okay, again we are making the same table. So we say 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, and we write population was here I'm not identifying which city. Okay, here I am just writing population. So suppose I say that I want to talk about India. So I want to see over a time period, has population increased, or has literacy increased, and whether there's a relationship between both of these. Okay, so in 2010 I said population was 100, literacy was 20. Then 2011 population increased to 125, literacy increased to 50. Then 2012 the population increased to 130, literacy increased to 75. Then 2013 I said the population was 150, now I had 110 people who were literate. And now in 2014 I had a population which was 200. Out of that 200, and suppose I say 192 people were literate. Now can you tell me what this will mean? Do you think there's a positive relationship between literacy and population and time? Over time period, do you think that population has increased, literacy has also increased, but has the proportion also increased?
Yes, ma'am. There is a positive relationship between the two because as the population goes up, then the literacy also gets increased.
Yes,
So there is
but if you
a
see the
positive
gap,
relationship.
Jeffrey, what I'm talking about is the gap. Here, there's a huge gap. See, it's 120. So big gap. But if you see over here, what has happened? The gap between population and education has gone down. Okay. So when we study later, when we come to regression and correlation, these are things which we will study. So when you study these two things, when you study population and literacy, you will be studying regression. And if you study year and population, and you study year and literacy, then you will be doing time series analysis. Okay, so these are part of your course, so we'll come to it, but I just want to explain how important it is to get chronological data. So now you understand. uh, Previous slide. Okay, let me just finish this, Ravi, then I'll go back to the previous slide. So if you understand over here, as I said, if with year you want to see how changes are taking place, then it is called as time series analysis. Okay, so under time series analysis, you will be studying the with year, with changes in year, has population increased, with changes in year, has literacy increased. So this is time series. Okay. Second question is, if population has increased, has literacy also increased? Can you understand? When we take two variables like population and literacy and study the relationship, it becomes regression. When we take time and study any of the relationships, then it becomes time series analysis. So currently, just remember that this is the second type of classification, which is called as chronological classification. Okay, I'm just going to the previous slide for 1 minute. So if you want, you can write this down. That's why I said, please make a note of this. These examples are not there in the book, and I would suggest it's better to have it with you in some kind of notebook. Yes. Can I go to the next slide? Is that clear now?
You can move on. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's clear.
This is also clear. Second one. Okay.
Yeah.
So the third one that are now.
Second one, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay now.
Okay. So I'll
You can move on.
third one. Now this is very, very important. And from here it becomes a little different. So we talk about qualitative qualitative classification. Now, any table that you take, see, when we make a questionnaire, initial part of the questionnaire gives you questions like what is your age, okay? It asks you what is the sex, male, female, okay? It asks you about educational qualification, okay? So whether you studied till standard fifth, if you have not studied at all, you've studied till 12th, then you have done graduation, then you have done post graduation, etc. Okay, then you have marital status, where you'll say married, unmarried, single, etc. Okay, so there are some questions which we will ask about people, so that we know the kind of the group of people we are studying. Okay, so even if I talk about income also, I will take, okay, so income I will take less than this amount, more than this amount, equal to this amount. So you might have different categories. This kind of data, this kind of data that you use is very important, because sometimes, when you want to do any kind of study, you will say what is the relationship between is there a difference between males and females and their online shopping behavior. So you want to find out whether male and female will have differences in online shopping. This is a very favorite area of research which I find many of my students doing. So they want to find out whether a male shops differently than a female online, or is the amount of money that we're spending different when you talk about sex, or you is it different when we talk about different kind of educational qualification. So do you think an uneducated person will spend differently, an educated person will spend differently? We can just do these studies. So this kind of classification is called as qualitative classification. What is the qualitative aspect of it? Now, sex, you can either be male, female. No, they cannot be. Nowadays, of course, you have a lot of other categories, but mainly when we are doing research, we will, these are clearly defined into separate categories. For example, religion. So if we say Christian, Hindus, Muslims, these are categories. Now here he can't be part Hindu and part Muslim, he has to be one. Okay, so these kind of questions that we have will fall under qualitative classification. So how do you write it? For example, if you take a population, as I said, this becomes quite important for a study. So if you want to see, according to age, is there a change in anxiety? Do you want to see according to sex, is there a change in anxiety? According to educational qualification, is there a change in different things? So you want to know for so many different factors what is the different change. So here, suppose I say I am initially classifying it into males and females. I'm just making a very basic, simple table. So when I just take male and female, it is a simple classification. Now, what I do is, suppose under male and female, now I want to know a little bit more about them. So I want to know whether these males are from rural area or from urban area. I'm just showing you that how many levels you can actually have for analysis. So even for females, you'll see whether they belong to rural label or urban areas. After this, I can again have, if they stay in the rural labor level, are they literate or are they illiterate? Okay. Similarly, urban also, I want to see whether they are literate or illiterate. Rural, again, for females, I want to see whether they are literate or they are illiterate. Urban, again, I want to see if they are literate or illiterate. Okay. Further, I can also want to see if they are literate. Are they Hindus? Are they Muslims? Are they Christians? So similarly, illiterate, are they Hindus? Are they Muslims? Are they Christians? So all this data gives me, what does it give me? It gives me the demographic profile. It gives me the demographic profile of respondents. Okay, so like this you can continue. I've just made few. Here again you can go down further and find out income levels, where are they below poverty line, are they above poverty line, etc. So you can continue. So below this, when we are talking about so many levels, then it is called as manifold classification. Is it clear? So if you just have one basic classification of males and females in a table or in information, then you will call it as simple classification. But if you are subdividing and adding more details to it, it becomes a manifold classification. Is it clear? I'll just give you 1 minute. People who are noting down can at least write down. So if anything is not clear, you can just ask me over here.
Yes, my question is, if that involve male and female is simple. So the second one that you say you go down is what I didn't hear well.
See, go down means from males, I divided it again into two categories, that is rural, urban. Again, rural category I divided into literate, illiterate. Then again, literate I divided into according to religion, to Hindus, Muslims, and Christians. Then again, I subdivided it into how many of these people are below the poverty line and above the poverty line. So I'm going down and further classifying them according to different attributes. Okay, so that is why it can be a huge table. It depends on how much in details you want to know about the respondents. So some people will say, I don't need so much information. For me, it is enough to know that how many males are there and how many females are there. So they close the investigation there. Means that is all that they want to know. Because, for example, in psychology, one person might have a hypothesis that there's a difference between the IQ of females and males. Now, here I don't want to know whether they stay in rural area, whether they want to stay in urban area. I just want to know how many of the respondents are males and how many of the respondents are females, what is their IQ levels, and based on that, I can conduct my research. So I can do a simple classification. Okay, but suppose I have a question where I want to find out how many literate rural males earn more than 20,000 pounds. So now here, automatically my question is that I want literate, number of literates, I want number of people who stay in rural areas, I want to know how many males are there. So naturally my classification has now become manifold classification. Is that clear now?
Yes, ma.
Okay.
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah. So depending on the question that you have or what you want to find out, that much of demographic data you will collect. So there is no standard rule that everybody has to ask these questions. Depending on what you want to study and how you want to study, you will determine what is required for you. So nobody can say that, oh, everybody will ask this question. No. What you require for your study, your research, your analysis is what you need to correct. Okay, so it can be simple, that is perfectly fine. It can be manifold, that is also perfectly fine. Out of that, whichever indicators you feel is relevant to you, only those variables you'll be looking into. Okay? This is called as the qualitative research classification. I hope everybody's clear. Can I go to the next one?
Yes, ma, please.
You can go ahead.
I have
You can go ahead.
a question.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, ma. Please, with regard to the below poverty and above poverty line, please can you
I
talk
can't
something?
hear you clearly, Munir.
Okay, ma. Please, can you hear me now? Hello, ma.
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah. I said I need some clarification with regard to the below poverty and above poverty line. Your last downline classification.
No, see, these are just classifications. So you might want to know how many of these mails that you have taken information from. For example, you have gone and taken collected data from some 300 people. So out of this 300 people, you want to know how many people stay below the poverty line and how many people stay above the poverty line. Now, poverty line is a concept which your country has decided. So it might be that a person who is earning, like in India, we'll say a person who is earning less than 2,000 rupees a month will be below poverty line. So when I've taken income, I will find out that, okay, these people are below my poverty line. It's just a variable which I want to study. Is it clear?
Yes, ma.
Munir?
It's very clear now. Thank you.
Okay.
It's clear, ma. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'll come to the last one. The last one is also very important, and most of the questions that we'll do will come under quantitative classification. Okay, so the last one we have is called as quantitative classification. And this I will deal with little in details. See, I can easily jump to the questions, but I'm not doing that. I can just write a table and show you how to calculate, but I'm going here because you should understand how we are coming to the table and what does the table actually mean, or what does the table actually show. Without knowing that, just knowing how to calculate does not help. That's the reason that I'm spending little time over here. It will help you understand how we go about it. Now, for example, let me just tell you. So suppose you have information like this. Okay, 1 1 1 2 2 5 6 7 5 3 3 3 3 2 1. Now, what is this called as? This is the raw data. So you have asked something like, for example, you've asked all these students, how much marks did you get in a particular test? So the first person said, I've got 1 mark. Second person said, I've got 1 mark. Third person says, I've got 1 mark. So fourth person says, I've got 2 marks. So you've written down all the marks. Now, this is many times called as raw data, and it is also called as individual series. Okay, so when you write down, now I have not taken how many times one thing is being repeated or nothing like that. What I've taken is I've just simply written down all the variables which are all the information whoever has said whatever. So if I ask this entire class, there are 36 37 people here, and I ask you, okay, all of you tell me your age. So you all tell me your age and I will write all the ages. That is the information that we have collected. So here, suppose we say these are the marks which the students have got. Okay, so when we write it just like this is called as an individual series. The second one which we come to is called as a discrete series. Now, if you see, this is okay till here, but suppose I add more and more information. Suppose I add more numbers. There are 1,000 numbers like this. You cannot understand anything from so many numbers. It will be very difficult to evaluate. So in that case, what do we do is, the first step we do is, if the series is small and there are particular numbers, then we use something called as a discrete series. Now, if you see over here, if you put it in order, we've got 1, then we've got 2, then we've got 3. I don't think we have 4. Do we have 4? No. Have I written 4? No. What is the next
No,
number?
there's no 4.
Yeah. Then we have 5. Then we have 6 and we have 7. So these are the numbers which are there in the series. So this is my X column. One second. I just... Okay, so this is my X. X is what? X is my variable. Whenever you talk about a variable, you will be writing it as X and Y. What is this variable? This is marks. Is it clear? So in this particular case, marks is my variable. I've written this. Now after this is we write frequency. Now what is frequency? Frequency means number of times a value is repeated. So what we do is, to find this, we make something like a tally bar and we write the values. Now, what is a tally bar? For example, 1. Now, here I've got one, so I'll put it like this. Then this is another one, I'll put it here. Then there is one more here, I'll put it like this. I'll just add another 2 ones just to show you. Okay, so here 3 ones I've got. This is 4. This is 5. When we write 5, we cross it like this and then we add 1 more. So how many 1 values I've got? I've got 6 values, 6 repetitions of 1 mark. Okay, so 6 students in the class have got 1 mark. That is what is the frequency. Similarly, for 2, I've got this. Oh God, sorry. Yeah. So this is 1. Then this is the second one. Then you've got one more over here. So I've got 3 students who have got 2 marks. Similarly, for 3, I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've got 4 students who have got 3 marks. Okay. Then for 5, I have only 1 and 2 students who have got 5 marks. And for 6, I've got 1 student. And for 7, I've got 1 student. Is it clear? Is it clear how I've made the table?
Yes, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Is it clear? Okay. So this is where we talk about discrete series. Now, in a discrete series, what we are doing, thank you. That's so nice. I love seeing all the reactions from class, you know. So you can keep giving me a thumbs up in between. It's very nice to see that you are following me. So now in discrete series, what we do is we are going to write the number of times one particular value. Please note this very carefully. We are going to write the number of times one particular value is being repeated. Okay. So this is the second series. So now you're clear. The first series is called as individual series, where we just write all the values as they are. If it is repeated, we write it in the same manner. The second is a discrete series. This X is a discrete variable. So individual values which are being repeated, I will write that. Okay. Now I come to the third series, which is called as continuous series. What is a continuous series? Now, suppose there are a lot of values and you suppose there are 100, 200, 300 values. Now, I can't keep writing individual values. So in this case, what I do is I will take my variable X and I will take frequency. Now here, the frequency means number of values which fall in the group. I'll explain, don't worry. Okay. For example, we say 0 to 10, then we have 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. So now I've got these values. So suppose I'll just give an example of the first row. So suppose I've got a value 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. Now, all these values are falling between 0 to 10. So, I will write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, I'll say 6 values are there which are following in the class interval of 0 to 10. Do you understand the difference in the frequency? When I talk about discrete series, I'm saying that 1 is repeated 6 times. Here, I'm saying between 0 and 10, there are 6 values. Is everybody clear on this? This is a very, very important difference to understand when we are talking about continuous and discrete series. It does not mean that the same number is repeated. It means in that class interval, how many values are there. Let me give you an example of the second class. So suppose I say 11, 12, 19, 18. So there are 4 values which fall between 10 and 20. Okay. Then you've got 25, 28, 22, 21. So there are 4 values which fall between 20 to 30. Similarly, you might have 31, 32, 34, 35, 39. So there are 5 values which are falling between 30 to 40. And I say you have got one value 45 and 42. So there are 2 values which are falling between 40 to 50. Is it clear? Is it clear to everybody the difference between continuous and discrete series?
Yeah, what would you?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Now, what is very important here is these are all simple values. Now we have 2 terms, exclusive series and inclusive series. Now, I'll just take the example of only one class. Okay, so I've taken X over here, here also, frequency, frequency. Now, first class for me was 0 to 10. The next one was 10 to 11, 10 to 20. The third one was 20 to 30. Now, in this case, what happens is, suppose there's a value 10. Where do we write it? Okay, where do we write this value? Do I write it here or do I write it here? Okay, both of these, if you see, it is 0 to 10 and here also 10 to 20. So when the value is 10, it will be written over here. Is it clear? That is called as exclusive series. Exclusive because we do not take into consideration the upper limit. This is called as the upper limit. This is called as the lower limit. So the lower value is the lower limit and the upper value is called as the upper limit. We do not consider the upper limit of a series when we are talking about exclusive series. Is it clear? So if you have a value 10, it will come here. Okay. Now what happens in inclusive series is that you will not write the values like this only. You will write it as 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29. Now here where it will come, here also it will come here only. But here, if you see, it is very clearly written only till 9. So all numbers from 0 to 9 are taken in this. All numbers from 10 to 19 are taken in this. So that is exclusive, means we do not take the upper value. In inclusive, we take the lower value also, upper value also. Is the difference clear between the two series? Because your questions will be on this. Okay, so if I want to write this series in this method, how will I write? It will become 0 to 9.5, 9.52, 19.5, 19.5 to 29.5. So I'm adding these two values, that is 9 plus 10 divided by 2. So that I get all the values increased. Okay, I'm explaining again, Salome. See, I said that these values were clear. See, 31, 32, 34. So there was no overlapping. So those values we can easily put. But if we have a value like 10, now 10 is following over here also and over here also. So in exclusive series, upper limit is not considered. So that's why this will not be considered over here. Where will you put it? You'll put it over here. In inclusive series, it is very clearly different. So both upper limit and lower limit are considered. So here 0 to 9 is the first class interval. The second is 10 to 19. So in 10, you will be putting in this value. Is it clear? Is now, I hope it is clear to everybody.
Okay. On the side of me, it's clear, but I'm not sure other students.
Okay. No, I think somebody asked me, that's why. Salome, is it clear to you? I just wanted to make it clear. Okay. Yeah.
Madam, as for me, it's not clear on the exclusive series. Where there is a negative 10 divided by 20. I think, can you
that one, this portion you're asking me, 9 plus 10. See, many times when we want to calculate mean, see, actually inclusive series will be written as 0 to 9, 10 to 19, and 20 to 29. This is how the question also will be, and this is will be the value of x. It is only when we start doing some calculations. Now there is a gap of one value. So suppose you have a value 9.5. Where will you put it? So that's why when we do, we calculate mean, we calculate median, we calculate correlation, regression, other values. That time we will do it. Okay, so I was just explaining that to convert this into a continuous series. This is continuous. See, 0 to 9.5, 9.5 to 19.5. So no values are missing. That's why we will convert it, but it's not compulsory and it is not a very essential part. Many times you can do calculations even before, even without changing it. That is why I said that in an inclusive series, like I said, if you got a value 9.8, where does it go? Where can you put this value?
From 0 to 9.
How can you put it in 0 to 9? Because it is 9.8, no? So it will fall between 9 to 10.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that's why you will have to convert it into a continuous series. That's what I was trying to explain. Is that clear now?
Yes, clear. Thank you.
Okay. We will understand this more. Don't get confused over here. We will come to this more when we explain. So there are 2-3 more terms which I would like to explain over here. Now, when we write this series, the first thing we write is 0 to 10. Now here, I'll just define all this for you all so that when I'm using these terms for calculation, you will not have any problem. So the 0 that you have is called as the lower limit. And this 10 is called as the upper limit. Okay. And this 0 to 10 that you have is called as a class. Okay. So you will have number of classes which are there whenever we write a distribution table. So that is called as a class. Now, another term that we use is called as class interval. What is a class interval? If you take upper limit minus lower limit, then it is called as class limit. So here it is going to be 10 minus 0, that is 10. Okay, so that is called as the class interval. Okay, and then you have one more term which is called as mid value. Mid value is calculated as upper limit minus lower limit divided by 2. That is, for this class, it will be 10 minus 0 divided by 2. That is equal to 5. Okay, for this class. The second class is what? 10 to 20. So for the second class, it will be 10. Sorry, it is plus. Yeah. 10 plus 20 divided by 2. So it will be 30 divided by 2. That is equal to 50. So this is called as the mid value of a class. This is a very, very important term to remember because many times you'll be using this term throughout your calculations. So whenever you are calculating something, these are the common terms which we will be using. Yeah, you use a less than. Ravi, you will use less than and more than, but that I'll come to later. Okay, when we are doing questions, I will explain how to do that. Currently, if I introduce it here, it'll just create confusion. So I'm just giving you the basics which are required. As we progress tomorrow and I think next week, I will be telling you exactly where what is used and how to calculate along with this. Okay, so that will be the time. So is this clear to all of you what I have done till now? Is everybody clear till here? Yeah. So basically,
Yeah, we're with you.
yes, Khalid, please tell me.
No, I said I'm with you.
Okay, yeah. So after collection, this is basically organization of data. So it tells you how we can actually organize the data in the best possible manner. Okay. After organization of data, The last thing which I will try to finish today is tabulation. I will come to graphical presentation or diagrammatic presentation of data, and I will tell you what are the different kinds of diagrams which we actually draw. Okay, so we'll come to the next thing. See, after you have decided on this, you will come to tabulation of data. So the information that you've got, you will try to put it in systematic tables. Once you get a table, then the next thing that you do is you come to diagrammatic presentation of data. And there are many types of diagrams. I will be dealing with some of the important diagrams for you. So first category of diagrams that we have is called as bar diagrams. So bar diagrams, basically, the first thing that you try to draw is called as a simple bar diagram. So under simple bar diagram, suppose you have suppose you have information. For example, you've got you can also take year, you can take states, depending on whether the information is chronological, whether the information is quantitative, whether the information is time series. All this I mentioned this to you. You can have any kind of thing. So you might have a table which tells you year and population. You might have a table which tells you name of the state and population. So depending on what table you have, I'm just drawing one simple bar diagram to make you understand how it will be drawn. So suppose we've got year and we've got population. Let me see, you can take anything. Sales. Okay, sales of a particular commodity. So here, or better if I take something else. Yeah. Literacy rate. Okay, so here I've taken, suppose I'll say 2015, 2016. See, I'm just making these tables up. So please, these are not the actual rates. When you make the table, you have to take the accurate data and plot it. But I'm just writing all these values now. So they are all hypothetical. Okay, so 2017, 2018, 2019. Now, literacy rate, I say, is over here 25, then it becomes 29, it becomes 32, it becomes 40, and it becomes 50. So this is the information I have. Now, what I do over here is that I create a table. Okay, so I mark this as maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And here I'm taking literacy rate, and here I'm taking year. So first year that I'm taking is 2015. So 2015, my information says that it is 25. So if I'm drawing this, it will come out to be this kind of diagram. Then I go to 2016. In 2016, it is 29. So it will be just somewhere here. So this is my 2016. Then I go to 2017. Please, I hope it is clear, because I'm not drawing with the scale and all, so it might be little there. But this is how you need to do. The next is 32.
This is nice, clear.
Yeah. So the next one that we have is 32. Please, you need to make them equal width. Should I try drawing it again? Is it clear to everybody? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
Okay. Okay. Then
Okay.
yes. Please make all the bar diagrams. I'll write. Okay. Bars should be equal width. Okay. Don't make them thin and fat like I have drawn, all the bars should be of equal width. So when you are drawing in a page, please remember to make them of equal width. Okay. So the third and next one is 2018. So for 2018, I've got 40. So this is 2018. And 2019, I have got 50. So this is 2019. So this is called as a simple bar diagram where I have just drawn all the information which is given to me in a table. Is it clear to everybody? Is this clear to everyone?
Oh.
Okay. So let me go to the next one. Please draw along with me because there's a lot of things I need to cover. So I know I need to go little maybe. So I'm wanting you all to draw it with me. That will be nice because you all will get a practice. So the second one that we have is called as a multiple bar diagram. So when we draw a multiple bar diagram, you will have here, and suppose you take arts, commerce, and science. So you're taking students from different streams. So suppose I say 2014, you had 540 students in arts, you had 325 students in commerce, and you had 250 students in science. Then in 2015, you had 650 students in arts, you had 410 students in commerce, 275 students in science. And 2016, you had 730, 520, and you have 350. Now, can you tell me the total? How many students are there? Please give me the total, because without knowing the total, you cannot draw this figure.
Okay,
So I'll be drawing two different things.
For 2014,
yes,
the total is 1,115.
1,115. Okay. Second
is for the 2015 is 1,275.
Okay, 1,275.
275.
Okay. What about the third one? Yes.
For the 2016 is 1,600.
1,600. 1,600. What am I writing?
600 is
yeah. 1,600. Okay. Now I will be dealing with two diagrams over here. That's why I have
2015 addition is not right.
Which one?
650, 410, 275. Wow, is equal 1,335.
375.
35. Yeah, okay. 35.
35. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I will be dealing with two types of diagrams here. The first I'm telling you is how to draw the multiple bar diagram, and I will show you the subdivided bar diagram also along with you. So now, if you see this information, there are two types of informations which we have. One is that we talk about year and we talk about the different students. Okay. So you can either take it year wise, or you can also take it in terms of whether they are from arts or commerce or science. That also we can draw. So I'll just show you that. Suppose the diagram that you draw over here can be two types of diagrams. So I'm just drawing the multiple bar diagram first, and I'm drawing both the different ways in which the diagram can be drawn. So the first area that I want to take over here is I am taking over here year. Okay. And in this, I'm trying to take which faculty do you belong to. And here I'm taking number of students. So suppose I take this as 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. Okay. So if you see for the year 2014, you had how many students? 540 students who were there in arts. So you can just approx draw. So you have 540 students who were there in arts. Then you have 325 students who were there in commerce. 325. I'm approx drawing. Okay. So this is 325. And then you had 250 students who were part of commerce. This is for the first year. For the second year, you had 650 students who were there in commerce. Then you had 410 students who were there in commerce. And then you had 520 students. 500 and how many students? 275 students, sorry. 275 students who were part of science. Okay. The third one is that you had 700, and this you can take till 800. So 730 students who were part of arts. So you had 720 students who were part of arts. Then you had 520 students who were part of your commerce. And then you had 350 students who were part of your, what is happening here? 1 second. So 350 students over here. So these are the different things that we found. Now, if you see over here, you write down year over here. So this will be 2014, what happened? 2015, what happened? 2016, what happened? So now, if I'm just drawing bars like this, you cannot make out which bar is standing for what. So now what I do is for arts. Okay. For arts, I say I'm going to draw lines like this. Okay, so this line is showing you the number of students who are there in arts in the 3 years. Okay, the second, so here I make this as my table showing that this is the number of students. Now after this, the second that I have is commerce. So under commerce, again, I will need something different. So suppose I make a cross like this to show that this bar represents commerce students. Okay, you can draw any pattern, does not matter. I'm just randomly drawing. But see, I'm just showing you how much difference it makes. See, when you are drawing just 3 plain bars, you're getting totally different images than what you're getting now. Okay, and the third one, suppose I say, so for commerce, I put a cross like this. And for science, I'm drawing dots. Okay, so for science students, I'm just drawing dots. Okay. So now you can see how easy and convenient it is to understand who is standing for what. Further, if you want to make it even better, you can write the values over here. So this is like 540, this is 325, this is 250, this is 650, this is 410, and this is 275. Similarly, this is 730, 520, and is it clear to everybody how we have drawn this this diagram?
Yes, it's clear about this histogram.
No, this is not a histogram. This is a simple, this is a multiple bar diagram. This is not histogram at all. Histogram will be for frequency distributions that I'll come to later. We're doing multiple bar diagram, simply. Now the second way that we can explain this, or the second way that we draw, is when we want to draw according to arts, science, and commerce. Sorry, commerce and science. So this is the second division that we want to have. Okay. So this is the second division what we want to have. Again, I'm taking the same way. This is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, maybe. Okay. So here, now according to science, according to arts means I will draw these three values. So what is the first value? The first value that I'm drawing is 540. So here, this is the first value that I'm drawing. This is 540. So I don't know. Okay, let me just drop this off. I don't know. I'll just draw simple ones. Okay, so this is the first value. This will be 540. Then the second one you have is 650. Are you clear? We're drawing these values, 540, 650 and 730. Okay. Then next one that you're drawing is for commerce. So for commerce, the first value is 325. Then the next value is 410. The third value is 520. Okay. Then we come to the third, that is science. So in science, you've got 250. Then you have 275, which is a little bit more. And then you have 300 and... Is it clear? So, but you can see the difference between the first and a second graph. Now in the second graph, again, it is not clear what you are doing. So let me use a little bit of color here. So suppose I say that the first thing that I want to show is 2014. The second bar is for 2015 and the third bar is for 2016. Are you clear? So in the first diagram, we have taken arts, commerce, and science. In this, we are saying for the 3 years, how we are going to draw it. Let me bring about a little bit of color here. So I say that this is the first one which I'm drawing, which is going to show me in the year 2014. Okay. Then the second one I'm drawing is for the year 2015. So I say this is for my year 2000. Okay. So the second one I have drawn is for the year 2015. Okay. And the third one that I am drawing is for the year 2016. So is it clear? Because here we need to, make a very clear difference on what we are drawing. So that's why an index becomes very important. Without an index, now you can see the difference, no? The moment we have put different kind of patterns or images on this, we can make out what is happening. Otherwise, we couldn't even tell which bar is representing what. So here, now the moment we have drawn all these different kind of shapes and different kind of things, you can make out that the change which has taken place. Is it clear? So I hope you like the look of the diagrams, although they're not very straight bars. So I think you all are drawing better. So is it clear, both the diagrams that I've drawn? So the multiple bar diagrams.
Yes.
Also. Yes, Khan? Somebody said something.
It's good, ma'am.
Okay. So you can see how nicely it.
Thank you, doctor. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, doctor, for this elaborative and well comprehensive diagram.
Yeah. Thank you. I like teaching these subjects. I'm very fond of teaching actually. So.
Dramatic illustration. But I
Yes.
still have a way. My question is the diagram, just this multiple diagram like this. Must I draw the two forms of the diagram, or
No. If it comes to you, why I wanted to show you is, later if you're reading, you might feel that I have drawn in a different manner, because in quantitative techniques, what happens is, even when we do questions, you'll find that the same question can be done by 10 different formulas. So I just wanted to draw these two so that you know that the same question can be drawn in different ways. But for your exam, if one question comes, you just have to draw one kind of diagram. You don't have to draw all the different kind of diagrams.
Okay, noted. This is just the question. Thank you so much, ma'am. Otherwise, everything is well understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'll just come to the next one. It is related to this. I just wanted to finish this portion with you all. So I'll come to the next one where we talk about the subdivided bar diagrams. 1 second. Yeah. So the third one is, C part is subdivided bar diagram. I did not understand. What do you mean, draw it on a line? We need to draw it on line means?
Yeah. No, normally our exam will be online. It's not on papers.
Okay. Yeah. So is it multiple choice questions? Is it multiple choice?
No, as per last year papers,
Yes,
it's
it's multiple choice.
structured question. Yeah.
It's multiple
As
choice.
per last year, structured question.
Okay. Yeah, fine. So you might get a table like this, and you might be asked that evaluate what is given in the table. What is the percentage, for example, in this question? You can get a question like that, and you might be asked how many students are there in arts in the year 2015 from this chart. So you can actually calculate that. Okay. Let me see, on the last day I will do some MCQ questions also with you all. Okay, so I think that will help you better. Okay. Anyways, it's important. See, the exam is only one part of learning. It's important to know, because at the end of the day, if you say I've done a quantitative technique paper, you should know all these concepts, then only you know the paper. So that is very important. And from the exam point of view, certain things will come, but it's important to understand all this. It will help you down the lane. Okay. So next we come to subdivided bar diagrams. So subdivided bar diagrams that we have is, I'll just take the same question again and explain how we are coming to it. This is again a very important thing. So here I'll just write the same question what I've written previously. So you've got year, this is 2014, 2015, 2016. Then you have arts, this is 540, 650 and 730. Then you've got commerce, which is 325, 410 and 520. And science students that you have is 1 second, 250, 275, 350. The total that we are getting, which you all calculate, is 1115, 1335 and 1600. Okay. Now, when we have a multiple bar diagram, the same information we put in a different manner. That is, we will be adding values on one on top of the other. So what do we do is, okay, so in this case, we take the value which is the highest value. The highest value over here is 1600. So we have to take values till 1600. So we will start with 250, then maybe 500, then 750, 1000, then 1250, 500, and maybe 17. So these are the values which I'm taking. Now, how is it different? I will explain this to you. So you take the value for the year. So you're taking year here. So you're taking 2014. Now in 2014, how many art students were there? 540. Okay. In 2015, how many students were there? 650. Take this little down. 540, and here we had around 650. Okay, and in the year 2016 we had 730 students. So I'm just taking it little up. I'm just drawing an approximate amount. Now over here, this is for the first year. So suppose I said I already marked this. So this is what is representing my arts students for the 3 different years. Now, rather than making so many different bar diagrams, what I'm going to do is on this only, I'm going to add the value. So I will add 540 plus 325. So how much is 540 plus 325? Please tell me the value. You can also put it in the chat, no problem. 540 plus 325 for the year 2014. How much is it?
865.
865. Okay. So you've got 865 over here. So what we'll do is the second one we will take till 865. Okay. For the year 2015, how much is it? 650 plus 410.
1060.
1060. So for the next one, we will take 1060. For the third one, it is 730 plus 520.
1250.
1250. So we go here, it becomes 1250. Now for this, again, I will use another kind of design so that we can distinguish it. So this is my the second diagram that I've drawn, one on the other. See, the difference is we are not drawing side by side over here. We are drawing one on top of the other. That is why it is called as a subdivided bar diagram. Now the last one, if you draw, this one will be 1115.
Yes.
2015. The second one you will have over here will be 1335. Okay, so 1335, and in the last case it will be 1600. So somewhere over here. Okay, again we make a notation of some other color so that you can distinguish how it is going. Okay. So this is a multiple bar diagram. Again, when we draw the 3 things, we can say that the green color like this is representing 2000. It is representing science students. When we are talking about these lines, we are talking about commerce students. And when we are talking about these kind of lines, we are talking about the arts students. Okay? So this is what I have made for the 3 years. Okay. So this becomes my index. Is it clear to everybody? Is it clear to everyone? Okay. So these are basically some of the important diagrams which are there. Now there's a big difference when we talk about diagrams and we talk about frequency graphs. Okay, so frequency graphs, I'll just make one and I'll finish today's class. I know I'm running short, so I'll just explain one on the last category so that you all can understand it thoroughly. Now when
Sorry,
we talk
ma'am.
about, these are all, yes,
I'm lost on this one because my internet went off.
okay. So
Yeah.
in this last one, what we did was we added the values like 540, okay, plus 325 plus 250. That is how we are drawing it. Is it clear? So we added the values 540 plus 325 plus 250. That is how we made the first diagram. Is it clear, Salome?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, so that is how we have made the bar diagrams, that we have added the values. Next one is 650 plus 410 plus 275. Creating the bar diagrams. Okay, now I'll quickly go on to the last type, because if I don't finish this today, I'll run late with what I need to do in the next one. So I'm just going to do a very simple thing which is called as your histogram. Okay, so we have histogram, and this is very important, that's why I'm doing that. Histogram, we call it histogram. Then we'll have frequency, polygon, and frequency curve. Okay, these are the three things which will come under this. So I'm just writing. Now see, difference here is, there we were taking chronological data and year-wise data. Here we are taking quantitative data only. So we will have a continuous distribution. So X will be 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, and 70 to 80. I'm just writing one question so that I can explain this to you. So this is 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 3, 2. Okay. So now when I want to draw this, my data becomes different. Okay, so now here what I'm taking X, and here what I'm taking is number of students, that is frequency. So this is number of students and this is marks. Okay, so I'm taking the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and here I'm taking marks as 10, 0 to 10. Okay, so this is 0, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80. Okay, so this is what I've taken. Now when I draw this, remember 0 to 10 is what? 1. Okay, so I draw 1. Then 10 to 20 is 4. So I draw 4. Then 20 to 30 is 5. So I draw 5. See, in this, because it's a continuous series, we have to draw it together. You cannot draw it separately. You have to draw it together. The next is till 6. So this will be 6. Then 40 to 50 is 7. So here I am marking 7. Then 50 to 60 is 6. 50 to 60 is 6. Then 60 to 70 is 3. And 70 to 80 is 2. Do you see the difference in what we have drawn earlier and now? The basic difference is when we are drawing the other diagrams, we drew them separately. We did not draw it like this. This is very typical of a quantitative data. Okay, so it is drawn for quantitative data, chronological data, or other data. You cannot use histogram, frequency, polygon. It is specifically only for quantitative data. Okay, now what is a frequency polygon? It means we will take the central value of, means 0 to 10 means 5. Okay, similarly 10 to 20 means 15. So in the midpoint of these things, all these bars that we have drawn, if we join it with straight line, if we join it with a straight line, then it is called as a frequency polygon. If we join it with a straight line, remember, if all the points are joined with a straight line, then it is called as a frequency polygon. And the same thing, if by chance I want to draw a curve to represent it better, then this is called as a frequency curve. Okay, so if I'm joining with exact points, it is called as frequency polygon. And the bars that I'm drawing, these bars are called as, oops, sorry. The bars that I've drawn are called as histogram. Is everybody clear on this? Is everybody clear? So it is only drawn for quantitative data. If the centermost point of each bar is joined with straight lines, then it is called as a frequency curve. And if you are drawing a rough hand and just drawing a curve, then it is called as a frequency curve. Is it clear? Is everybody clear? So that completes quite a bit of things I think I have covered today about collection of data, organization of data, and diagrammatic representation of data. Next class, I will start with all the questions. So we will be trying to complete means of central tendency in the next class. So I will be dealing with all the different methods which are there, which you have to understand. Yes, Ravi, you have any question?
And for our exam, we have to concentrate more on the presentation or on the notes that we have from IGNU.
What I'll do is, in the last class, I will guide you on what you need to do for the exam. Is that fine? Yeah,
Okay,
because
fine.
I feel when you're learning a subject, you should know a lot of it. So,
okay.
Yeah, so let's learn a number of things, understand them, and of course, I will tell you how you need to answer for your exam. Okay, so I'll do that in the last class that we have. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And you can also go through last year's paper. That will be a very good guidance on how you can, attempt your question paper and score well. Okay, that is a very good basics. Yeah, I hope you all have past year's paper. So kindly go through that. That will guide you on how you can score well. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope everybody is clear on this. I'm not proceeding further than this. So this completes the area of diagrammatic presentation. There are a lot of other methods. You have pie diagrams, then you have line graphs and divided graphs and percentage bars, but it's not possible to cover so many types. So I've just covered whatever is possible. Any other question, Ravi? I can still see your hand up.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Doc.
Yeah.
Doc, hello, Doc.
Yes, Khalid, please tell me.
Thank you for the presentation, Ma. I have a concern. Tomorrow we have, from the schedule sent to us by our coordinator, we have 2 courses.
Yeah. My class is at
Because,
7 o'clock.
okay,
Yeah.
but we're having a clashing
No,
because the
they're
other
not
course is
clashing.
also.
One class is from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and this class will be at this timing only, what it was today. So they are not overlapping. They are two different timings.
Okay, I think we are having two different schedules, ma'am, because ours is showing also 7 o'clock, both the two courses. Maybe we'll talk to our coordinator so that she can.
Yeah,
talk
I
to the
think
other
you please
responsible.
write to her, because for me it is showing the schedule of 3 to 5 for
Hello?
this class and 7
From
o'clock
the
for this class.
hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, Ibrahim.
Yes, ma'am. I think that have been clear from the coordinator that the woman that is supposed to take that course, she is very sick. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so
I think that is in the afternoon. My class is in the day. I'm quite certain. So I'll see you at 7 o'clock.
It's okay. Lastly, ma, I need a clarification. Hello, ma.
Yes.
Hello.
Tell me,
I just need
yes.
a clarification. What's the difference between these histogram and the bar chart? Because from the diagrams, they look similar. I thought one is.
No. They are not at all similar. Okay. See, when we are taking bar diagrams, you're taking year and different rates. It is chronological data or geographical data.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And the moment you come to histogram, you are taking quantitative data.
Yes.
The data itself is different.
Yeah.
Okay,
noted, ma'am.
so
Thank you.
histogram is only for quantitative data. You cannot draw multiple bars or anything for quantitative data. You have to draw histograms.
Noted, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that should be clear. So I'll see you all in the next class tomorrow evening. Okay, so tomorrow we will start with means of central tendency. I will discuss how to calculate mean, mode, median, quartiles, etc. Okay, so we will be doing all those questions tomorrow. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for the heart, Ibrahim. Very nice. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Salome. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.